Welcome to Chapter 2, Marketing Strategies. First up, we're going to talk about Nike. Click on this link to take a look how Nike builds their brand archetypes and see how they feel every consumer is an athlete and how they go through certain key steps for every single commercial when they brand to showcase the Nike brand to connect back to their core consumer base. Next up, considering your sustainable competitive advantage. How do you get that? Something called brand loyalty. Think of your most loyal friends, the people that would always be there. That's what a brand looks for. Brand looks for their key loyal consumers, those consumers that will never ever divert or go to another brand, as well as those consumers that will share and influence others to like that brand. So when we're considering it, we look at key pieces. In the middle of brand loyalty is customer value. We keep going back to customer value, so please remember that component as it will be key throughout this semester. Looking through in terms of brand loyalty, how do we create brand loyalty? Think of your own self. When have you received excellent customer service? That's what a brand strives to do. So if we're talking, let's say for example, Ritz-Carlton. Ritz-Carlton's mission and overview is ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen. You expect that type of excellent customer service. So if you went into a Ritz-Carlton and everyone ignored you or did not provide what they marketed, the brand would not deliver the value that you had expected. Secondary, operational excellence. Considering all the different pieces, how a firm operates, making sure that it is seamless, that is cohesive, everything, that there's never a question, it is absolutely turnkey, and every time you experience that brand, it is the same, it is constant, and it has developed and delivered exactly what you were expecting from the value standpoint and any aspect as it relates to the operations of that brand. Product excellence and location excellence. Product excellence. Have you ever purchased a brand or a product that didn't live up to your needs? Was it a new brand? How often are you let down by the brand that you're loyal to? So consider the products and consider where your loyalty lies and how consistent product excellence comes into play when you expect it. Every single time you open a can of Coca-Cola, it tastes the same. What if it didn't taste the same? What if there was differences? That goes into product excellence. And then location excellence. How easy it is for you to find the brands. How easy is it online or offline? How are the stores? How is the atmosphere? What is the experience that really brings back value into your mindset? Now we're going to talk about a concept that's not in the textbook, but it's very important and critical. It's called Lovemarks. Way back in the day, one of the large advertising agencies called Saatchi & Saatchi created it, and it was the ultimate love and respect for a brand. So as you look at it, where brands differ versus Lovemarks. Brands may give information, Lovemarks want a relationship. So look down this quadrant in terms of the differences between brands and Lovemarks to understand that Lovemarks really views brands from a personification perspective. They want a relationship. They understand the value. It's more than just a sale. It's a lifetime relationship that they're looking for. So I encourage you to look further at that. Humans are powered by emotion. So just like we saw in that Graham Newell video on the first slide, emotional marketing. How many times does your emotions come into play? It's psychology, it's behavior, and behind all that again, it's data. Understanding that, understanding how to play into what's going to make you respond and engage further. If you look at all of these triggers, these emotional triggers, how Nike utilizes it, how Johnson & Johnson utilizes it with mothers, and how hundreds of other brands really tap into this emotional aspect. And it goes within the brain in terms of the difference between emotion and reason, and which you will select at different parts. So I invite you to learn more about that and read through these slides regarding it. Once again, the ultimate aspect for a brand is having the highest respect for the brand and love for the brand, being in such a succinct relationship that you would not waver, as well as you would also tell others. It sounds a lot like a personal relationship, doesn't it? Exactly. Personal branding as well as product branding, consumers all look at it from a very similar standpoint, and I welcome you to really look at it from that perspective because it may help you understand the concepts a little bit more. Considering customer excellence, what are the best companies that really retain their consumers, that over time, once again, I go back to loyalty. What brand are you loyal with? Is there a brand you've been loyal with since grammar school, since high school, since your early days in college, or wherever you may be at in life. Consider that. Why are you so loyal? Is it because time and time again, product excellence, they deliver on the product, customer excellence, the customer service that you receive is constant and the same, operational is at its top, everything that you expect of that brand never wavers, just like in a real relationship. It's critical to consider this. Operational excellence from the standpoint of Six Sigma. If you haven't heard of this concept before, it outlines 6 key areas for overall brand excellence to deliver value to a consumer. It starts with overall defining what is the excellence, how are we going to define that excellence, measuring, analyzing it, really improving it, and making sure it's controlled. Why controlled? So it delivers the same value every single time. Those are 6 Sigma areas to really assess when you're looking at a brand and you're considering operational excellence. Product excellence. What drives you to think one product is better than another? If you weren't loyal to a brand, does the price drive you? Does the promotion? Does the reputation? All of this plays in, but time and time again, a product must deliver. Just like any other aspect of marketing, for you to continue to purchase that product, to be loyal to that product, for your expectations, and for you to also share knowledge of that product to others and influence their choices, which hopefully will be the product that you're loyal to. Location excellence. How important is location to you in the world that we live in virtual? Are you in an area that doesn't have a lot of big stores and covers your needs? Do you need to go online? How does that online experience differ from the location experience when you actually walk into a store? As time goes by, we'll see more and more where we're actually in the store virtually, and through augmented reality, as well as gaming, as well as other initiatives within marketing. Marketers are working harder than ever to deliver that same type of value, regardless if you're at home ordering something online or you're in the store, that same type of feel and overall building of the relationship and bringing back value back to you. Next up, the marketing plan. How do you develop a marketing plan? Let's take a look at it. Key is phase 1, the objectives. What is the objective of the plan? What are you trying to achieve? So these are within phase 1. The other piece, phase 1, a SWOT. Strength, weakness, opportunities, threats. But we're also going to talk about another form of SWOT. It's called TOWS, not toes, TOWS, T-O-W-S. And it flips SWOT on the other side to understand, based on your weaknesses, how your strengths can overcome them. Based on threats, how opportunities can overcome them. And looking at your plotting points of your brand through SWOT and TOWS from a different perspective, and really ensuring that you're covering it from a 360 perspective, and any opportunities are maximized, any weaknesses are minimized, any threats really go unnoticed because you have so many strengths. So it flips and flops all those quadrant pieces to really come through with an analysis of your brand and really what you can own to deliver value, but position it as a unique selling proposition. Step 3 in a marketing plan, STP, segmentation, target, and position. If I looked at all of you, you're all one segment, you're a class. But then we can segment. We can segment by gender, we can segment by age, we can segment by your major. There's so many varieties. Think of a marketer. That's how they will segment and look at it, and they'll understand which markets are more lucrative, which markets they need to work harder on in terms of really gaining awareness or gaining loyalty. Once phase 3 is done in terms of segmentation, targeting, positioning, then you move into implementation, your 4 Ps, where your product goes, place, how you're going to promote it, and how you're going to position it, and how you're overall going to have pricing and how it's going to compete with the other competitors. So this gives you a great outline for a marketing plan. In addition, I'll probably upload some actual marketing plans so you can see the application of a real brand being pulled into an actual marketing plan and the execution. And then the final piece, as always, control. How are you going to measure? How are you going to ensure every piece is delivered exactly the same way? And how also are you going to refine your message? These days, marketing plans don't sit on shelves. They're very active, they have to be nimble and adaptable, and they have to be living and breathing. So you can change as the marketplace changes or the competitors change. You always have to have your eye on your plan to make sure it is meeting the needs of the overall objectives of all of your stakeholders, building value, but is relevant on a day-to-day basis, and making sure you never ever assume that your marketing plan is set in stone. It constantly has to be refined, and through that control aspect ensures that you're analyzing the impact of your marketing plans, return on investment, and a variety of other pieces. 3 phases of the strategic plan. We just went through it and broke it all down. But first, in general, is planning. What's the plan? What are the objectives? Where does research come in? How effectively is it? Second piece, implementation, execution of that marketing plan. And then the third piece, as we looked at in the big chart, control. How are you going to ensure and measure and monitor and make sure that the plan and all of the tactics are controlled, cohesive, and you are achieving your goals? It's on time, on strategy, and on budget, as they say. Business mission. Consider that. What's the mission of some of the top companies in the world? Well, for a moment, we're going to take a look at MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Their mission is very clear and crisp. Their mission involves stop drunk driving, support the victims of this violent crime, and prevent underage drinking. Clear and crisp. What this means is anything that they put out from any of their 4 Ps or any of their SAVE model, any of the overall positioning, has to resonate back to this core mission. How do they stop drunk driving? How do they help the victims? And how do they truly help to educate more, so this can become an association or an organization that just educates and doesn't have to look at more and more victims each and every year. Take a look at the MAD promotion from both the TV spot, video, as well as this ad. Does this align with the mission? Something to think about. Conducting a situational analysis. Take a look at this for a second. You'll see the two brands, Nike and Adidas, and you'll look at SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Where internally you're looking at it, as well as externally. Internally, where can you find your strengths? Where can you look from a standpoint of your weaknesses? And externally, where are the opportunities and where are the threats? Look at it from Nike and Adidas. Who's doing better? Who appears to you to be the stronger brand? Take a look at this slide. Step 3, identifying and evaluating opportunities. Goes into STP, segmentation, targeting, positioning. So let's say I'm a t-shirt manufacturer and I have a great idea for Blacksburg. I'm going to start selling a t-shirt. It's called the Hokie t-shirt. The market's a little bit saturated, wouldn't you think? Who would you go out to the marketplace? What segment? How would you target that segment, and how would you position the brand? Think about it. Unique selling proposition. How is your t-shirt different than any other t-shirt? Maybe your t-shirt is signed by a famous alumni that graduated from Virginia Tech, and that's what you have. So maybe you go to a segment that really looks towards having one-of-a-kind, unique t-shirts. Maybe it's a price point specific. Maybe your t-shirts are the only ones signed by famous people, and they're minimum $30 a t-shirt. How are you going to position it? Consider this. Consider it the fact that every single brand goes through it. Whether you're a rental car company and the segment you're going after is young travelers, and you're going to market how well they can travel and how you're going to target them through key magazines, through key social media, through key websites. How are you going to reach them with the right message at the right time and the right offer at that point? So considering that and how you're going to position it so it really stands out above any other competitors. Going back, flipping SWOT for a second and looking at TOWS, the TOWS matrix, which really hopes to consider strengths and opportunities, weakness and opportunities, strengths and threats, as well as weaknesses and threats. Strengths and opportunities, as you see, generate strategies that use strengths to take advantage of the great opportunities. Or when you're looking at it from a standpoint of weaknesses, strategies that take advantage of opportunities and overcome any weakness. Where are your strengths and how can they overcome? The same flip side for strengths and threats, how you use strengths to avoid any threats, and how you use opportunities as well to look through and avoid any of your current weaknesses or threats. Take a look at this slide as we go through and see if you can plug in a brand that may be relevant for you, and see if you can figure out what their strengths are, how they can overcome weaknesses, what their threats are, and how certain threats are overcome based on the opportunities which exist. Another example for market segmentation, take a look at this Hertz grid. As you will see, it looks for the different types of segments, a variety of different segments, and all the different types of cars that are offered. You have the segment of single people, business, environmentally conscious, and as you see, Hertz has a brand for every one of their segments, and they specifically market through. And you can look at it as well, the brands that they have, backing it up and saying, here's the brand, what segment would resonate with this brand? So if it is more of a Cadillac Escalade, who would be that? Maybe it's the more affluent business people versus the young single people that are using it for vacations and other types of things. So consider it, and as you look more and more and align it and apply it with a brand, it will make more sense. Segment here. What is the segment on this slide? My butt, as Nike says. Is it a good segment? Is it a bad segment? Is it showing strength, female strength? Who is this? Who are they talking to? And considering marketing, and considering Nike and how they look at certain consumers and really bring about that archetype. What type of archetype are they building and referring to in this slide? Implementing and marketing resources, considering the product, how you're going to create value, the price, how are you going to really capture it, the location, how you're going to deliver it, and the promotion, how you're really going to communicate it. Consider all of those four quadrants. Look at this Burger King example. It's in an FSI, which is for a freestanding insert. What are they saying within this? Look at the visual. Look at the coupon attached. How are they attacking product, price, place, and promotion based on this FSI? Going back to one of my favorite products, Starbucks. And on this slide, it says one of my favorite ads. It says, if your coffee isn't perfect, we'll make it over. If it's still not perfect, make sure you're at Starbucks. This goes back to the beginnings of Starbucks when they first started in Pike Place in Seattle. And their core aspect was to deliver the best cup of coffee a consumer could ever have. That was one of their key missions when they started. Does their brand still resonate in everything that they started with? I believe so. And at times when Starbucks didn't and their product wavered, they actually have shut down stores to retrain their baristas. And that goes back even to customer service, leading once back into value for the consumer and customer excellence and what you can expect and what the consumer always expects. The same cup of coffee every single time. And when it wasn't, consumers have the power of the podium to speak up and let brands know. But in this case, this truly shows value of a product being Starbucks and showcasing the unique selling proposition, how there's only one Starbucks. Can you say that about your personal brand? Price and value. Many times, people will perceive good value for the product they receive. Consider Target. How well they redefine their business model. Target, instead of like all the others, whether it's Kmart or JCPenney, Target decided to partner with these famous designers and really bring designs and other elements to the consumers at a price that was digestible for them at their price point. A Target price point, not an elite price point, but getting the value and the reputation of one of the world's top designers delivered to your Target with a price that you can afford. That changed the marketplace. Target was a change maker in the market for what they delivered, how they delivered it, how they positioned themselves different than any other brand. Place and value in delivery. How critical is it? How oftentimes do you shop online? Do you shop online for certain things and other things? Do you shop online for clothing? Do you window shop online and then go into the actual stores? Or makeup, or razors, or any other product? How important is that location and how does that provide value back to you? Or is it more valuable to have all of your offerings online and having that same customer service ability as if you were in the store? Consider that. Look at what brands are trying to do, whether it's a large brand like Sephora and all the makeup it offers and online free shipping as well as free samples, or if you go in the store, do you have the ability to get all of that? You don't have to ship the product, but do you also get free samples? Most of the time not. So what are marketers doing online to give extra value to drive your experience online versus stores? It's a constant struggle, but based on certain locations and areas of the country, if that store is not available and it's online, you'll see more marketing and promotions, possibly in your zip code, possibly in your Facebook feed, or in your inline advertising that marketers are doing. They know where you are, they know what you want, and they're trying to provide the best value. Promotion and value communicated. This world has expanded. No, it hasn't expanded. It's exploded. This is marketing 10.0. So yes, the days of mass marketing, TV, they're still there. Direct mail, billboards, but now we're social, we're mobile, we're events, we are augmented reality, we are gaming. Consider all of these aspects. How well does your brand do it? Your personal brand. How well does the companies that you may work for or look to work for do that very well? How are they performing? Where's the digital footprint? Is it as strong as their brand? How strong are they online as well as off? Marketers nowadays have a world of assets available to them and tactics to really promote and utilize a brand. Take a look at your brand. Is it integrated? Does it look the same when you walk in the store and when you go online and then pull up a website on your mobile phone? And then when you go and see an ad in a magazine, and then you see and you hear a radio commercial or a TV commercial, how consistent and cohesive is it? The best brands in the world understand this, but even the best brands in the world make some mistakes, and we'll go through those this semester as well. We'll also look at the best case studies, so you have the best brands and you understand how some of the world's billion-dollar brands really engage and build relationships and are at that Lovemarks level. Evaluation, step 5. This goes into control. Where is your brand positioned? How well is it doing? Where is it in the competitive marketplace? How well is the message coming across? Are consumers engaging with it? Are they responding to your ads? Are they taking action? Is there trial? Is there communication and engagement? It is key to always, from the control aspect, to evaluate all of your marketing and to refine it. So the same aspect that we said in our first session with Oreo and how they were able to be in the moment at that Super Bowl, the same rings through for marketing, to be able to refine and to ensure they are in the moment, that they understand where it is, and if they're not, they need to evaluate it. So look at brands that have either been in social media and have maybe had some issues or some challenges. Have they responded directly back to the consumer? How transparent are they? How have you seen certain brands within the marketplace evaluate and control and maybe change up their marketing based on engagement? If a brand is doing really well, say for example Coca-Cola, their brands and their products, by putting names on them, exploded beyond what anyone could ever expect. It was an idea that came across in a brainstorming meeting. Now it is expanded internationally. All over the world, people are asking for their names on cans. What does that come to? Personalization. We live in the me economy, and as we go through it more and more, you will take a look and understand how marketing is self-serving and how we are time poor, but yet we want things when we need them and customized as much as possible. And that's why the change in marketing from mass marketing for everyone knowing about it to just you knowing about it right here, right now. Here's your brand. Your 2 minutes. Growth strategies. Let's take a look at this again. Let's go back to the idea of t-shirts for Hokies. Let's say we looked in Blacksburg, Virginia. Market penetration. I'd say we were kind of saturated with a lot of t-shirts and a variety of other things. So it might not be the best market in Blacksburg to sell Hokie t-shirts. But if you're in New York and you sold a Manhattan Hokie t-shirt, you might have a lot more people because there's not a store on every corner that sells Hokie t-shirts. There's a unique selling proposition. You're reaching out and there's a different segment, alumni, that are reaching out and purchasing those t-shirts. Development, product development. Based on what you have, is there an opportunity to develop a new product in that marketplace? Considering what's already there in terms of saturation. And think about all the products that have evolved beyond it. At one point there was only Coca-Cola, and then came Diet Coca-Cola. When the consumer needs rise up, and there is a need as well as from the marketplace, enough opportunity and a lucrative aspect to really look for in terms of a return on investment, as well as a lot of market research, that really can sell in why there's a need to develop a new product. Clinical trials, phase 4, etc. Looking at market development, some markets may not be developed. Think about emerging markets, Brazil, Russia, India, and China. How much development, new market development, brand awareness. Tide may be a US brand today, but Tide internationally does not have anywhere near the market share that it has within the US. These are all opportunities for brands. And of course, diversification strategy. How are you going to diversify your brand? Well, once again, looking at it from that t-shirt example, if you were selling it in Blacksburg, how would that t-shirt be different than any other store? Consider that and consider a variety of other pieces and why diversification is so important. And also look at it in your own self. How are you diversified? How are you different than anyone else that you compete against in the job market? It's going to be really important to consider as we go through the rest of the semester.